His Excellency Mr. M. Allama Siddiqui, Bangladesh Ambassador to Turkey, respected Defense Attaché of the Embassy, Brigadier General Mohammad Tariqul Alam, NDCPSC, Excellency Professor Dr. Ali Martan Tondar, Director International Relations, Ankara University, Asia Pacific Research Center, APAM, the Diplomatic Observer, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, a very good afternoon to you all. Today is 15th August. This is the National Mourning Day of Bangladesh. Why it is National Mourning Day? In 1975, on this day, the father of the nation, Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, was mercilessly killed along with his family members on this night. This was carried out by some errant elements in our society. As we all know that Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman was the leader, great leader, who spearheaded the liberation war of Bangladesh, who dreamed of a Bangladesh that will be politically democratic, culturally secular and pluralistic, and economically egalitarian. So, as I have told like this, so you can easily imagine that what a precious gem we have lost on that night. To commemorate the supreme sacrifice of this great leader, this evening we are going to observe some programs. The programs include 1 minute stand in silence to pay homage to the martyrs of the night. We will run a documentary on the life and achievement of Bangabandhu. Then that will be followed by a discussion session, and the discussion session will be followed by a special prayer for the salvation of the departed souls of the martyrs, and we have arranged dinner for the guests. Now, having said so, at this point of time, I would like to request all the distinguished guests to stand in silence. We would like to pay homage to the memory of the father of the nation and the martyrs mercilessly killed at that night.
Of developing countries, he reaffirmed his support. Honorable Sihamni met Bangabandhu to discuss various international issues. Bangabandhu had cordial discussions with Indonesian leader Adam Malik. On the 17th of October 1973, Bangabandhu travelled to Japan on a week-long state visit. It was on this visit, after the independence of Bangladesh, that he took the opportunity of requesting the Japan government for assistance in building a bridge over the Jamuna River. On his
Bangla want to live. The people of Bangla want to have their rights. What wrong did we commit? The people of Bangladesh cast their vote overwhelmingly for me, for Awami League. Our National Assembly will sit. We will draw up the constitution there, and we will build this country. The people of this country will have economic, political, and cultural freedom.
His 43rd tragic death anniversary. There are certain moments in the histories of nations that are always remembered over generations with deep sorrow, but at the same time with deep respect and dignity. There are certain incidents that run deep into the hearts and souls of people. There is no doubt that the brutal assassination of Sheikh Mujibur Rahman and nearly his whole family on the night of the 15th of August 1975 was such an incident and moment. We wholeheartedly share the sentiments of the people of Bangladesh on this day of National Mourning of Bangladesh. We remember Sheikh Mujibur Rahman as the architect of the independence of Bangladesh, as the father of the nation. His popular title of Bangabandhu, Friend of Bengal, eloquently testifies to his image in the eyes of the people of Bangladesh. There are leaders that shape the future of the nations. For the Turkish nation, Gazi Mustafa Kemal Atatürk is the great leader of the Turkish nation. He is the founder of the Republic of Turkey. That is why the name of Atatürk, which means the father of the Turks, was earned rightfully by him. Sheikh Mujibur Rahman is the founder of the Bengali nation state, Bangladesh, and he is called the father of the nation. Turkey and Bangladesh bear mutual bonds of affection for each other. They are truly friendly countries, not only in words, but in proven deeds. For example, we are historically indebted for the support of the Bengali Muslims for the success of Turkey's War of Independence in the early 20th century. We remember with respect Qazi Nazrul Islam, Bangladesh's prominent poet, who wrote Kemal Pasha Saga as early as 1921, while the Turkish National War of Liberation was going on. We know his verse by heart. Kamal, tune Kamal kiya bhai. O brother Kemal, what a wonder you have achieved. Acknowledging the brotherly and sisterly ties of our two countries, Turkey and Bangladesh, it is an honor and privilege for me to be here today in commemorating the anniversary of this sad and tragic passing away of Sheikh Mujibur Rahman. And I thank you very much, Your Excellency, that you have organized such an event, and you have really deepened our knowledge of the foundation of Bangladesh and the achievement of Bangabandhu. Thank you very much.
First of all, I would like to thank you all for your kind presence. Your presence and your contributions as speakers, particularly of the ambassador and also of the professor, have been really gratifying. We are really grateful to you for your kind presence. As we know, this is a very sad day for the people of Bangladesh and also for the people of the world, in the sense that it is really unfortunate that a person of Bangabandhu's stature and his family members along with him were martyred on this day by a group of Iran officers. Today Bangladesh is independent. I am here as the ambassador of Bangladesh in Turkey. It would not have been possible if Bangabandhu had not been there leading the people of Bangladesh through the trying times of the 1950s, 1960s and early part of 1970s. There would not be any Bangladesh today had there been no Sheikh Mujibur Rahman. So for our existence of the people of Bangladesh as independent people, we are thankful to Almighty Allah that He sent Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujib to us, amongst us, to free us and to give us independence. What Bangabandhu achieved within his relatively short span of life, within actually a few years, since his adulthood, since his rise, meteoric rise as a political leader of the oppressed people of the then East Pakistan and later Bangladesh is unparalleled. You would not find many examples of similar emergence of national leaders. Very few are there. Of course, Atatürk, the great leader of Turkish people, father of Turkish nation, is a very bright example of how one individual can make tremendous amount of difference in the lives of a people. Similarly, Nelson Mandela of South Africa may be cited as an example how one person can make tremendous difference in the lives of millions of people of his country. So Bangabandhu was sent to this earth to actually free people of Bangladesh from hundreds of years of colonial rule, from the British colonial rule to Pakistani colonial rule, almost 200 years of colonial rule. We were independent at a great cost. Bangladesh people had to pay dearly for their independence, and hundreds of thousands of people, we put the figure at 3 million, died, sacrificed their lives for the independence of Bangladesh. Why Bangabandhu imagined that Bangladesh should be independent? How could he imagine that? Is a question that would testimony to the extent of his astute leadership. Back in early 50s, there would not be any person in the then East Pakistan who would dream of having an independent Bangladesh someday in the future. We were part of Pakistan at that point of time, and there were serious differences across various lines like linguistic line, cultural line, right of democracy, this and that, economic exploitation, etc. How could he think of having an independent country in the future, sometime in the future? That's absolutely unfathomable question. We do not know how to answer to this question. We really cannot answer, because most of his contemporaries, those who were raised with him, those who were a little bit senior to him or a little bit junior to him in that setup in East Pakistan, used to aspire for a cabinet membership in Pakistan time. They would be happy to have the post of Chief Minister of East Pakistan. They would be very happy to be part of the Pakistan cabinet based in Rawalpindi or in Islamabad later. How could Bangabandhu think that no, we have the right, we have the propensity, we have the tendency, we have the cultural distinctions, and we have the potential to become an independent nation? We don't know how to answer this question. And that's why Bangabandhu stands out. And he is the tallest person of all the political leaders that the Bengalis have ever had. Today we are here. I'm here as an ambassador. There are a couple of my countrymen over there who are students in Ankara. The defense attaché is here, first secretary is here. This flag is here, and this building is here, representing Bangladesh. This would not have been possible without Bangabandhu. That's why he is the greatest leader of the Bengalis. No one ever would be able to actually match him in terms of his role in our national history. No one would ever be able to surpass him in terms of achievement. Why was he killed? Again, it is a very deep and troubling question, deeply troubling question rather. As we understand, looking at the records that are now released from various sources, including the State Department of the United States, and as we see and find from various researches being done by Bangladeshi as well as international scale, international level researchers, we understand that there was a group of people who were hiding inside the society of Bangladesh since their defeat in 1971. We call them defeated forces of 1971. Those who could not take the defeat of the Pakistani military at the hands of the civilians of Bangladesh, of course with support of international community. And they were one of the core elements who caused this tragic incident. There were people who were supporting them from behind, from outside, from behind the scene, from outside the country, territory of Bangladesh. And I don't want to mention any particular name or name of any particular country because that's a little undiplomatic and perhaps this is not within the range of my duty. However, I would only indicate at the possibility that there were big powers involved because Bangabandhu was not only a leader of Bangladesh, he was a leader of the people of the third world, a phrase that was quite known at that point of time in the 70s and in the 80s. He was not only champion of the causes of the people of Bangladesh, but he was also speaking for the peoples of different countries who belonged to the League of Bangladesh at that point of time in Africa, in Asia, and also in South America. So you remember the death of Che Guevara of Argentina and also of Cuba. You would remember the death of Allende of Chile, an elected president of Chile. There were many things going on at that point of time in the 70s. It was a very different time than what we have now. Now the world doesn't have that kind of underlying, unknown conflicts in the diplomatic as well as military spheres. At that point of time, at the height of Cold War, the world was really almost divided. And peoples of the world were running the risk of seeing a nuclear catastrophe every day and every moment. That was the situation. So the world was very different. And Bangabandhu was also an exceptional person. He was not a normal leader as mentioned by the Ambassador Kilic. So for this kind of towering personalities, as they have thousands and innumerable number of fans and followers, they also have quite a high number of adversaries and enemies. And I would stop it here. I would also say or touch upon the fact that although Bangabandhu was killed physically, his spirit and his aspirations could not be killed. Because Bangabandhu left behind a legacy and a dream for us, the people of Bangladesh, to achieve. The legacy and the dream is to achieve a country which would be largely freed of exploitation. It is impossible to attain perfection in a society and in a political order, particularly in a country of 170 million people. However, Bangabandhu wanted the people of Bangladesh to achieve a just society, a society where every person will have a brighter and better future. And Bangladesh is on the way to achieve that kind of goal. Bangladesh is now one of the top 10 countries in terms of annual GDP growth. Bangladesh is moving fast. Bangladesh has done very well in socio-economic development sectors. Bangladesh is better than its South Asian fellow countries in terms of social development. And people of Bangladesh are now moving forward to attain middle income status by 2021. That is actually within the grip, within our reach now. Bangladesh used to be, all through my existence, I am now past 50, all through my existence, I heard the humiliating characterization of my country as a least developed country. We are still officially part of the least developed world, LDC. And for a country like Bangladesh, having a glorious past, as it was once one of the richest places in the world, and it is a country of 170 million able people, it is really disgracing to continue to have this kind of LDC status. Bangladesh is now almost way out to reach that goal of leaving this LDC status behind. Now we are given, in 2015, the United Nations gave us the first indication that you are supposed to be out of LDC status and now it is confirmed by the CDC of the United Nations that by 2024 or even earlier, if we wish, we can take up the challenge of leaving this status behind, becoming a developing country. Bangladesh is already a low middle income country. We want to be a middle income country by 2021. Bangladesh is reducing extreme poverty by 1.5% every year. And when I was a child, we used to have a population of 80 million. And out of the 80 million, about 70% were very poor. Now we have a population of more than double of that number, 170 million. But Alhamdulillah, we have only about 22% of the people who live behind or below poverty line. We are self-sufficient in food. In some good years, we are also exporting rice and other food staples. It would not have been possible without having an independent Bangladesh. So our gratefulness to Bangabandhu comes and derives from there. That without him, we would not have within our reach this kind of things. We would not be there. We would not be speaking before you, our brotherly people in Turkey. As mentioned by Ambassador Kilic, Bangladesh and Turkey have traditional fraternal relations, and that has been manifested in many examples. One example he has kindly mentioned about your independence war in 1920s, when the people of the subcontinent and also people of Bengali origin, they wanted to see an independent Turkey. Likewise, in recent time, Turkey has stood by the people of Bangladesh since the inception of the problem of Arakan Rohingya Muslim inflow into Bangladesh territory. Turkey was one of the first countries to come out with moral support and material support. We are grateful to the leadership of Turkey, particularly President Recep Tayyip Erdogan and the people of Turkey for their relentless, undaunting support to the people of Bangladesh at this trying hours. We are also happy to see the progress of Bangladesh under the leadership of Honorable Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina, who is a visionary leader, herself a very hard-working person and a very courageous person also, who despite losing the entire family except for one sister only, because at that point of time, on 15th August 1975, Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina and her younger sister, Sheikh Rehana, they were outside Bangladesh. They were actually traveling outside Bangladesh. And that's how they got saved. Despite losing every member of her family, except for the younger sister, this lady stood out with all courage, with all determination, to not only see the trial of the perpetrators, killers of her father, but also to see that democracy ushers in Bangladesh, to see that Bangladesh goes back to the original track of democracy and development. And that's why, because of her courage and determination, despite daunting challenges that we face in Bangladesh, she accepted the inflow of the refugees. Almost 1 million refugees are there now in Bangladesh. So in terms of our experience in dealing with Syrian refugees in Turkey and Arakan refugees in Bangladesh, we have a lot of commonalities. In terms of our attachment to Sufistic Islam, the people of Turkey and the people of Bangladesh have a lot of attachment to each other. In terms of our liberal and secular worldview, despite allegiance to the religion of Islam, the peoples of Bangladesh and Turkey are carrying this notion of worldview which is secular, open and liberal. That also attaches us, that also ties us together. So in the future, we would see a more robust growth in our relations, and inshallah we will see that Bangladesh and Turkey move ahead hand in hand, helping each other in many different ways. I would stop here, and before I say goodbye to you, I would say that we are really grateful to you for your kind presence. After this program, discussion meeting, at the end of the discussion meeting, we will have a special prayer for the departed souls of the martyrs of 15th August 1975. And then there is a very simple meal prepared for you. It is a very simple meal. We have intentionally kept it very simple because in keeping with the tune of the day, in keeping with the occasion, we didn't want to make it, a kind of celebratory dinner. It's a very simple dinner that we will offer you. Please have some time out for that also. Thank you very much.